Today, I have with me in the studio Ambassador Dixon Omorigi. Thank you for joining us, sir. We will be having a brief discussion concerning what is happening in Africa, and then we'll go for our agricultural segment as usual, and then we'll come back to the studio to talk about our discussion segments. Of course, our guest is on standby to bring us all the updates we'll be needing. But now let's start with the African news updates, where we begin in Nigeria, where the federal government has suspended the services of online integrated solutions, the operator of Nigeria's visa application centers across the United States. The Nigeria Immigration Service says effective immediately, visa applicants must submit their applications directly through the Nigerian Embassy in Washington, D.C., or the country's consulate in New York and Atlanta. Authorities say the suspension does not affect Nigeria's electronic visa system, while assuring applicants that measures have been put in place to prevent disruptions in visa processing. Now we move from immigration to governance in Southern Africa. South Africa's National Treasury has frozen funding to 69 municipalities, including Johannesburg, over what it describes as persistent financial mismanagement. Treasury says the move is aimed at enforcing fiscal discipline and reducing wasteful spending. Johannesburg, already battling aging infrastructure, water shortages, and mounting debt, is among the worst affected. Government says the funds will only be restored after the municipalities meet strict financial accountability conditions. Now, still on governance, but shifting to international partnership, Namibia is looking east to strengthen economic ties with China. President Netumbo Nadi has wrapped up a state visit in Beijing, with talks focused on expanding trade, infrastructure development, renewable energy, mining, and technology cooperation. Chinese Premier Li Kang also pledged to increase imports of Namibian agricultural and fishery products as both countries seek to deepen their strategic partnership. Elsewhere in Southern Africa, Zambia's President Hakainde Hichilema is campaigning for another term, pointing to improved economic indicators ahead of next month's general election. His administration says debt restructuring, stronger copper exports, and declining inflation demonstrate economic progress. However, opposition parties argue that rising poverty, restrictions on political activities, and concern over civil liberties remain key issues facing voters ahead of the August 13 poll. Attention now turns to West Africa, where Senegal's constitutional court has struck down a bill that sought to reduce presidential powers and strengthen parliament. The ruling comes amid growing political tensions between President Diomaye Faye and his former ally Ousmane Sonko. Analysts say the decision could reshape the country's political landscape as both leaders prepare for crucial local elections and a possible referendum on constitutional reforms. Now, across Central Africa, political tensions are also rising in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Opposition leaders have called for nationwide protest, accusing President Felix Tshisekedi of seeking constitutional changes that could allow him to remain in office beyond current mandates. They have demanded that he abandon the proposal, warning that attempts to extend presidential term limits could deepen the country's political crisis. Now, as political uncertainty grows, so too does concern over security in eastern Congo. The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, has called for an immediate ceasefire between Congolese government forces and the Rwanda-backed M23 rebels. The United Nations warned that the continued fighting is worsening the humanitarian situation, displacing civilians and increasing the risk of further human rights violations across the region. And finally, a debate in Uganda is reigniting conversation across Africa about the legacy of colonialism. Uganda's judiciary has rejected a directive from the Uganda Law Society urging lawyers to stop addressing judges as "my lord" and "my lady" and to end the practice of bowing in court. While the Law Society argues that such traditions are outdated, colonial relics that should give way to more modern and dignified forms of address, the judiciary insists that any reforms must follow established legal procedures. And that's it for the African News Update today. Our last story will form the basis of our discussion after the break. But welcome, Ms. Ambassador. We are so glad to have you here. We just read the last story on Uganda and culture, the Uganda Law Society urging lawyers to stop addressing judges as my lord and my lady and to end the practice of bowing in courts. We know that this has been happening, right? This is what has been the culture right from time, and Ugandans are saying they want to put a stop to it, and they don't want to follow the colonial tradition anymore. So what do you think about it? Briefly before we go on this break, because we are still going to come back to have an in-depth conversation regarding culture.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a great delight for me to be here. You see, in the judicial sector,
right,
where they use my lords has been a long-standing tradition. I am sure whoever is facing the judge today, when judges, I'm sorry to use the word, when judges were actually judges,
right,
when things were normal, when judges were actually the last hope of common man. If you use that word, my lord, I don't think it's inappropriate, because as at that point in time, you are standing before your fate. You are standing before your decision. And if actually the man that is going to make that pronouncement, you see, God, nobody sees God. God has replicated himself in man. Therefore, whatever that is being done today by a superior man or a man that has been designated to be in an office is God himself that is doing it. So I have no problem using the word my lord or your lordship. It is not bad. But today, I'm sorry to say, I don't need to say allegedly, I think that confidence, I think that integrity have been desecrated. Right. Therefore, if you go and say my lord, by the end of it, you don't get justice, you see it wasted, you feel
the disrespect.
You feel disrespected. Yes. So that's for me. It's not bad, but if things goes the way it has expected, I think it's not bad, because it's just that time when you're out of court, you don't call him your lord again. Right. You don't call him your lord, but he actually at that hour, he's the one that starts to make pronouncement on you, whether good or bad, if it is proper. But for the present day judges, I don't think that word is appropriate any longer.
Yeah, that's what the news is saying, that the such traditions are outdated and we should give way to more modern and dignified form of address for the judiciary. We don't have to say my lord, my lady. We are having a very, very interesting conversation, I can already tell. But we'll go on a quick break, and when we return right after the agricultural segment, we'll be back to continue from where we've dropped it here.
Welcome to Razep Africa, the heartbeat of the continent in one show. Here, we celebrate Africa not as a headline, but as a home full of ideas, courage, flavor, and future. This is where we talk about everything Africa. The politics that shape our nations, the innovations that shift our economies, the culture that colors our lives, the challenges we face with honesty, and the victories we are building one story at a time. On this show, no topic is swept aside. We are unfiltered and we are intentional. We bring you experts from across the continent and the world. Voices that know, voices that live the African experience, voices that are shaping the next chapter of our story. Let your spirit rise. We don't just tell Africa's story, we own it. Join Joy Asonye on Razep Africa, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. to 12 noon on Global Television.
In the heart of our field lies the future of agriculture, sustainable, innovative, and powered by smart solutions from the rich soil of Africa to high-tech farms around the globe. agriculture is evolving to meet the demands of tomorrow. At the intersection of tradition and technology, we discover smarter ways to grow more, waste less, and harvest greener. Together, we are cultivating a future where every harvest sustains the earth and its people. Join us 11:15 a.m. Mondays and Fridays on Global TV, Channel 365 DSTV, StarTime Channel 276, or YouTube Livestream GSA Initiative. Agriculture for today and tomorrow, as we share groundbreaking ideas, empowering farmers, and celebrate greenhouse solutions. Together, let's grow the future.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Agriculture for Today and Tomorrow, the program where we explore innovative ideas, practical solutions, and emerging opportunities shaping the future of agriculture in Nigeria and across Africa. Remember, this is a Media for Agricultural Development project of GSAI, that's Growth for Sustainable Agriculture Initiative. I am privileged to be your host today. Daniel Black is my name, and today we'll be discussing a very, very important topic: challenges of agri-tech adoption in Nigeria. Let us understand what agri-tech is. First and foremost, technology is transforming agriculture globally. We all know that. Farmers are using drones to monitor crops, artificial intelligence to detect disease, satellite imagery to predict yields, mobile apps to access weather forecasts, and digital platforms to sell produce directly to buyers. Yes, despite all of these innovations, millions of Nigerian farmers, especially smallholder farmers who produce most of our food, are yet to fully benefit from these technologies. Now, today we will explore why this gap exists, what is slowing down this adoption, and what can be done to expose or to ensure that Nigerian farmers are not left behind in the digital agricultural revolution. So let's talk, what exactly is agri-tech, right? The word has been used across board by different stakeholders, by different people. Let us actually understand what agri-tech is. Agri-tech simply means the use of technology to improve agricultural production, marketing, financing, and decision making. So long and short of it is the use of a technology across to improve the value chain of agriculture. And you know, agri-tech includes mobile advisory applications, digital extension services, weather forecast platforms, precision agriculture, drone, GPS guided equipment, soil testing technologies, farm management softwares, artificial intelligence, digital marketplaces, agricultural finance and insurance platforms. And you know, Nigeria has witnessed remarkable growth in agri-tech startups over the past decade. Companies such as Thrive Agric, such as Crop to Cash, Hello Tractor, Relief, and Vandia also have demonstrated that technology can solve long-standing agricultural challenges. So, for example, Hello Tractor has become popularly known as if you'd like, Uber for tractors. Instead of farmers purchasing expensive tractors, they can now book mechanization services through a digital platform, reducing production costs while increasing access to modern equipment. Also, Crop to Cash is helping farmers create digital identities, making it easier for financial institutions and development partners to provide loans, insurance, and agricultural support. Now, you would agree with me that these are excellent examples of innovation solving real problems, right? Technology cutting into solutions of agriculture. But however, the question remains, if these technologies work, why are millions of farmers in Nigeria and indeed Africa still not using them? And that takes us to talking about what the challenges could be, what the challenges are. So there are several reasons why Africa and Nigeria have not done a full adoption. I would say we probably are at 20 to 30% adoption of agricultural technology. So first and foremost, which is very obvious, is a poor digital literacy. There is so much digital illiteracy in Nigeria and in Africa. Many rural farmers have limited experience using smartphones or digital applications. So even when they own smartphones, navigating these apps can be difficult without training. And studies continue to show that training and extension support significantly increases technological adoption among Nigerian farmers. And research on the Rice Advice mobile app, for example, platform, found that trained farmers achieve substantially higher rice yields than other users. Now, secondly, is poor internet connectivity across the country. So many farming communities still experience weak mobile networks and unreliable internet services. Digital agriculture cannot thrive where connectivity remains inconsistent. So farmers cannot access weather updates, online market advisory services. If they cannot connect to this internet, they cannot actually access these products, these services. Now, affordability of agri-technology. Most of these farmers are smallholder farmers planting in small plots, in small acres. Affordability of the technological solution is another major challenge. So many agri-tech tools require smartphones, require internet subscription, and of course other subscription fees. And for a farmer cultivating 1 or 2 hectares of land, these costs may compete with purchasing seeds, fertilizer or pesticides, and it's increasing the cost of production. So technology must demonstrate immediate economic value before many farmers are willing to invest. Yes, so if these technologies do not show immediate economic value, most farmers just feel that it is an option that they can actually do without. And then fourth is inadequate extension services. Technology should complement, not replace, human extension officers. So farmers still value trusted advice from extension workers and experienced farmers. And yes, when digital tools are introduced alongside extension services, adoption improves significantly. Another challenge we would also want to identify is language barrier. So many of these agri-tech applications are available only in English, and millions of Nigerian farmers communicate primarily in local dialects like Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo, TV, and other languages that are predominant in Nigeria, and many other that are predominant in Nigeria. So technology must speak the language of its users. Agri-technology in Nigeria, in Africa, must begin to speak the language of its users. Many farmers also have been disappointed by previous interventions, and this has also caused some form of doubt, some form of hesitation and reluctance in adopting future or different interventions. So these farmers want proof that the new technology will genuinely improve their yield, income before changing long established farming practices. Of course, we know that change is usually very difficult, and they need to see that this new change that they are going to is actually worth the while. Building trust takes time. So it is very important for us to know that agri-technology is not something that would just happen overnight. It is going to take a process. Having understood this, we would be going on a very short break. After that, when we come back, we will be discussing on the solutions that can be done to improve adoption of agricultural technology in Nigeria. See you after the break.
In the heart of our field lies the future of agriculture, sustainable, innovative, and powered by smart solutions. From the rich soil of Africa to high-tech farms around the globe, agriculture is evolving to meet the demands of tomorrow. At the intersection of tradition and technology, we discover smarter ways to grow more, waste less, and harvest greener. Together, we are cultivating a future where every harvest sustains the earth and its people. Join us 11:15 a.m. Mondays and Fridays on Global TV, Channel 365 DSTV, StarTime Channel 276, or YouTube Livestream GSA Initiative. Agriculture for today and tomorrow, as we share groundbreaking ideas empowering farmers and celebrate greenhouse solutions. Together, let's grow the future.
Welcome back to Agriculture for today and tomorrow. We did promise that we'll be talking solutions after the short break, and the question now is, how do we move forward? Number one, we need to begin to invest in digital extension services. Now, this technology should empower extension officers rather than replace them, rather than try to replace them. Imagine every extension worker carrying digital tools that provide weather forecasts, pest alerts, and market prices in real time. Farmers receive trusted advice while benefiting from technology. Right. Then, second way forward, I think, to improve adoption of agricultural technology in Nigeria is build technologies around farmers and not around software developers. Include farmers in the solutions. Many farmers prefer WhatsApp, voice message, and local language communication instead of complicated applications. The best agri-tech solutions fit naturally into farmers' daily routine instead of just forcing them to learn entirely new systems. Another solution we could also work around is improving rural connectivity. Now, this has to do with the telcos, also with government legislation. So government and private telecommunication companies must continue expanding broadband access to rural communities, because without digital infrastructure, digital agriculture cannot flourish. Number four solution that we can also work is strengthening farmer cooperatives. Technological adoption becomes easier because when introduced through farmer groups, and then there is support for each other. Cooperatives provide peer learning, they reduce cost, and of course improve confidence in new technologies. We move to the next solution. We could improve access to finance. So financial institutions should support agri-tech adoptions through affordable loans and equipment financing. Technology should be viewed as a productive investment rather than an additional expense. So let's having looked at those way forward, let's talk about some real life stories, some real life examples that we have seen that despite the challenges, Nigeria has encouraging examples. We have Hello Tractor, like we mentioned earlier. And Hello Tractor has actually connected thousands of farmers with tractor owners, and they do this through digital booking systems, improving access to mechanization. We also have Crop to Cash, which is helping farmers establish digital identities that improve access to financial services. Research involving nearly 800 rice farmers in Ebonyi State found that users of the rice advisory platform increased yield by an average of about 19 tons per hectare, right, compared with non-users, demonstrating that well-designed digital advisory services can deliver measurable productive gains when farmers receive training and support. So you now find out that these examples prove that agri-tech can work in Nigeria when it is addressing real farmer needs. That would be all as we conclude today or on today's program. One important lesson stands out. Nigerian agricultural transformation will not happen simply because technology exists. It will happen when technology becomes accessible, affordable, understandable, and trusted by farmers who feed the nation. So agri-tech is not about replacing farmers. It is about empowering farmers to make better decisions, increase productivity, reduce loss, and improve their income. So as policy makers, development partners, private investors, civil society continue to invest in agriculture, we must ensure that innovation reaches the last mile, the rural farmer. Only then can technology transform agriculture and strengthen food security in Nigeria. That will be all on today's episode of Agriculture for Today and Tomorrow. Thank you for joining us on this edition. And I remain Daniel Black. And until next time, remember, this is a Media for Agricultural Development project of GSAI, that's Growth for Sustainable Agriculture Initiative. And until next time, keep supporting Nigerian agriculture, keep embracing innovation, and remember that the future of agriculture is not tomorrow, it is what we choose to do today. Goodbye and God bless.
In the heart of our field lies the future of agriculture, sustainable, innovative, and powered by smart solutions from the rich soil of Africa to high-tech farms around the globe. Agriculture is evolving to meet the demands of tomorrow. At the intersection of tradition and technology, we discover smarter ways to grow more, waste less, and harvest greener. Together, we are cultivating a future where every harvest sustains the earth and its people. Join us 11:15 a.m. Mondays and Fridays on Global TV, Channel 365 DSTV, StarTime Channel 276, or YouTube Livestream GSA Initiative. Agriculture for Today and Tomorrow, as we share groundbreaking ideas, empowering farmers, and celebrate greenhouse solutions. Together, let's grow the future.
Welcome to Razep Africa, the heartbeat of the continent in one show. Here, we celebrate Africa not as a headline, but as a home full of ideas, courage, flavor, and future. This is where we talk about everything Africa. The politics that shape our nations, the innovations that shift our economies, the culture that colors our lives, the challenges we face with honesty, and the victories we are building one story at a time. On this show, no topic is swept aside. We are unfiltered and we are intentional. We bring you experts from across the continent and the world. Voices that know, voices that live the African experience, voices that are shaping the next chapter of our story. Let your spirit rise. We don't just tell Africa's story, we own it. Join Joy Asonye on Razep Africa, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. to 12 noon on Global Television.
Welcome back from that segment. I hope you've been able to pick one or two things on how we all can be responsible for our food security. I still have my guests with me in the studio. Now let's move to our topic of discourse for today. Decolonizing Africa. Is it time to let go of colonial rules? Now, for decades after independence, many African countries continue to operate systems inherited from their former colonial rulers. From our education, legal and political systems to the languages we speak in official settings, our currencies, and even the way we define success and development. Across the continent, there is now a growing conversation around decolonization. Should Africa continue to hold on to colonial traditions, or is it time to rediscover and strengthen our indigenous cultures, knowledge systems, and identities? Supporters argue that true independence is not only political, but also cultural and mental. Others believe colonial institutions have become part of modern Africa, and abandoning them completely could create unnecessary setback. So where should Africa draw the line between preserving useful systems and reclaiming its own identity? To help us unpack this important conversation, I'm joined by Ambassador Dixon Omoregi, Executive Director of the Institute for Cultural Diplomacy. Ambassador, thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having me once again.
Yeah, so let's start quickly. When people hear about the word decolonization, they often think they think it is only political independence. From your perspective, what does decolonizing Africa truly mean?
Yeah, thank you very much. if we are talking of decolonization, it simply means returning back to where we were, returning back to, that's what they call status quo.
Right.
However, it is not the outdated status quo this time, but an improved status quo. What that means is that there was a time we were taking care of ourselves before we were not colonized. When I'm talking about colonization here, we're talking about when the white masters came in. And when they came in, we talked, but then our forefathers thought that, Uhuru has come, foreign bodies has come, so they were happy that they have brought development. Perhaps they may have brought development per se, but before they came, we were living. We were not animals.
Right.
But when we are now saying decolonization, which simply means let them take their hands off. We are matured. We are ripe. We are educated. We are now knowledgeable for us to continue with ourselves. And today, if the clamor for decolonization should be emphasized. It is now. It has to be. It has to be implemented. We have to pursue it. One of the reasons why we need to pursue is that today we have a visible country today
Right.
who has decided to decolonize themselves, and we are seeing what is called development unlimited. We are seeing progress unlimited.
Because they decide to decolonize themselves. Yeah.
I'm talking about Burkina Faso.
Right.
So this, you see, is unprecedented development. However, I think we can also go back, before we round up, we can also go back to what I can call self-colonization. Our perspective today is how we can decolonize ourselves from our colonial masters.
Right.
But the real colonization is not even the colonial masters. It is
self-colonization.
The real colonization we are having by our brothers and sisters, who we see today as our leaders. They have so colonized us. The colonization they are giving to us is far more than the one the foreign personnel
they're giving to us. So with what you've said, that we need to self-decolonize ourselves. Do you believe that Africans, we are still mentally and culturally colonized, even though most countries have gained independence decades ago? Do you believe that some Africans, or Nigeria as the case may be, we are still mentally colonized, like self-colonization, like you mentioned?
Yes, we are still very, very much colonized. And the colonization we have within ourselves was born by economic gluttonic tendency.
Economic gluttonic tendency.
Yes,
right.
It's because of economy. The reason why we decide to remain colonized is our crave for wealth, our crave to possess it. And the only way you can possess what you are not entitled to possess is through power. So that's why today, the real colonization that we are being faced in Africa today is our leader. There are some countries today, one leader has been there as president for 40 years.
Right.
Now, what that means is that even a child that was not born before he became president
would grow up.
Who is in our country today, Nigeria? Yakubu Gowon became the president of Nigeria when he was 26 years. When he was 26 years. So it simply means, as at 26 years, you can take national responsibility. You can take communal responsibility. You can take regional responsibility. However, because of the gluttonic tendency they are having, that is why they have remained in power and use the government apparatus to capture the citizens and remain in power. So that they have colonized the country. That's the self-colonization I'm talking about.
Right. So as the executive director for the Institute of Cultural Diplomacy, what are some colonial traditions or systems that you think that Africa should seriously reconsider?
First of all, there has to be what is called the opportunity to live and to decide what you want.
Right.
The first captivity that they put on mankind is to grasp, is to confiscate their independence in choice, in choosing their leaders. So that is why most of African countries today, whoever is leading them today, most of them, the leaders are not accepted. They are not accepted by the people, but they have forced themselves on the people. So we don't have the proper institutional framework that will guarantee your independent decision or you electing your leader. I'll give some example today. Do you know that in America, you can insult President Trump? You abuse him, you insult him, that is nonsense. And nothing will happen, nobody will respond to you.
Right.
If you are a federal worker or a state worker, they will not tamper with your work. You will still be working. Nobody will say, oh, because you insulted the president, they will dismiss, they will phone the minister to dismiss you. No, it doesn't happen. Your right remain exclusively reserved. So in Africa, one man who is in power captures every organ, captures every segment.
Right.
So that is why the first thing from our perspective, Institute for Cultural Diplomacy, is for us to see how we can play along and get that degree of independence in our institutions that will guarantee election procedures, that will guarantee if you are a criminal, independence in that institutions will prosecute you whether you are a brother to the president, whether you are a friend to the president. Our institutions today, who are supposed to assist in governance, they are not independent. They are being manipulated. They are being controlled. So in most countries today, where somebody can be the president of a country for decades, 40-something years, 30-something years, he is the owner of the Inspector General of Police. He is the owner of the military. So as an enemy, upcoming enemy, who wants to fight him, who want to take over,
right,
who want to contest and take over, they will send people to him and then allege him, and then he can be in the cell for 1 or 2 years or more.
So I understand that you've said that Africans, we do not have an independent institution, that is why we still have to battle with this issue. Now let's move away from political issues and let's just talk about unifying the diverse societies. Now some people has argued that colonial influence has helped unify diverse societies through common languages like English and French. Now do you think abandoning these languages can create more problems than solutions? Maybe if we abandon it and move to our indigenous languages?
No. You see, the world is not a place where one man dwells.
Right.
The world is not a place where one ethnic dwells. There's nothing wrong in relating. There's nothing wrong in having access to other languages or even learning other languages. There's nothing wrong. Actually, in cultural diplomacy, one of the cardinal activities, objective, is for us to fraternize with your language. If we fraternize with your language, we see the good things in your language, we see some values in your language. In the process of doing that, you now see those, there can be exchange of marriages. There are people who don't belong to your language, who is not part of your language, but when they now see some good values in your language, they now say, wow, I like this. So, the world is not so. It's not one language. It's good for us to...
No man is an island.
Yes.
We have to rely on each other.
Correct. We have to rely on each other. For instance also, if you look at, we have some countries today like China.
All right.
In China, if a Chinese attend United Nations meeting, it could be a professor in China. In English, he will tell you he doesn't understand English.
Exactly. That's the way it should be. So now look at African languages. Now, do you think that African languages should receive more prominence in education, in governance, and in business? If yes, how realistic is this? Like we go for conferences like that abroad, and I decide to speak my Yoruba language, another person decides to speak his cultural language instead of the usual English. Do you think it's realistic?
Yes, it is. It would have been very, very colorful.
Okay.
It would have been very, very colorful. But one of the reasons why it will not be practicable is the what is called self-defeatism in you. Because if you go out now, today I am an Edo man. I speak Benin.
Right.
If I go to such outer space and I tell them that I want to speak Benin, it becomes laughable. They say, look at this adult. So he can't even speak common English.
Yes, that's it.
So when I imagine what they're going to tell me, I will first of all defeat myself. I will hide my language. I will hide my dialect and begin to struggle.
And that's even you as an adult, because I remember back then when I was in primary school, if you speak your language, it is tagged as vernacular, and it seems like you've committed a big crime. Yes, you'll be beaten for it for speaking your language and not speaking English. So it's not even supposed to be so, because if we are thinking of decolonizing Africa, we have to start from decolonizing ourselves, like you mentioned earlier, and we have to also imbibe it in every aspect of our lives, in our dressing, in our language, in our schools, in our societies. I believe that is where it will be. If you are just joining us, this is Razep Africa, and we are discussing decolonizing Africa. Is it time to let go of colonial traditions? I've been speaking with Ambassador Dixon Omoregi, Executive Director of the Institute for Cultural Diplomacy. We've examined what decolonization means and whether Africa has truly moved forward beyond its colonial past. Now, sir, let's look at practical realities. Many African schools, they still teach history largely from colonial perspectives. How important is it for African countries to rewrite their educational curriculum?
That question can be answered thus. It simply means you have either an Android phone or what do you call the other one? An iPhone.
Yes.
It's like saying that every transaction you did yesterday, delete all of them. Start over today. Then tomorrow, all that transpired,
today you delete
all of them.
That's not technically possible.
So that is history. So a man that does not understand his or her yesterday cannot develop today and build for tomorrow. Right. History is very, very important to know where you are coming from. And that is why, you see, if you take your car, your vehicle, to a mechanic, they will first of all do what's called diagnosis. Or if you take your television or your phone to wherever they take it, they will analyze it. What is the history of this fault? It makes you to take decision today that will help you tomorrow. So any country today that does not study history, I don't think is proper, because you are actually saying erase what happened yesterday. And you who is propagating such idea, you also will soon be forgotten.
Because very soon you become history too.
You become history. So it is very good for us to take note of history. Anybody, any community that does not know their history is a lost community. Any tribe that does not understand their history is a lost tribe. Any nation that does not know their history is a lost nation. So for us, educationally, for us to say let us stop learning history, something is definitely responsible, and I discourage it.
Thank you for that. Now, today, many young Africans consume more foreign entertainment than local cultural content. Does this pose a threat to African identity? Me, for instance, I'm guilty of that. Many people do not even want to watch the Nollywood. We don't want to listen to our music. We want to align with the foreign countries and listen to more of their content. What do you think that this is posing as a threat to African identity?
Yes, there is no structure there is no institution that is actually promoting it or encouraging it.
All right.
There's nothing wrong for us to have access to foreign entertainment and all of that, but don't lose your own culture too. Don't lose your own entertainment. Don't lose your own tradition. What do you call it? Don't lose your own movie. Also.
Yes, our movies.
Don't lose yours too. There's nothing wrong in listening to others. However, there are inferiority complexes that are responsible for us not promoting our Nollywood and all others. You see, if you are talking of maybe American movie or European movie, these are industry that has been on for years. So they have struggled through the era of struggling and they have not attained their best. So if you are talking of Nigeria, who is still growing, and they are not able to meet up to that standard, we should not discourage whatever we are doing, because Rome was not built in a day.
And also the Nigerian producers, the Nigerian music producers or movie producers, we've seen quite a lot of times that they are trying to create a standard that would be accepted abroad, and as a result of that, they are infusing more of the foreign content into our local stuff. Because you say you're watching Yoruba, so I would always use Yoruba as an example. You say you're watching Yoruba movies, but 90% they are speaking English. There's some English you're not even seeing the deep proverbs and the cultural thing you're supposed to see in a proper Yoruba movie, just because they want it to be accepted in the foreign, and I'm sure that it is so for other tribes too, because we want that acceptance, like you mentioned, inferiority complex, and I think that is what is playing in the entertainment industry. If we have that away, we should be able to retrace our steps back to our roots, like you mentioned.
I think in that circumstance, if we are in our tradition or in our dialect, like Yoruba, which you just mentioned,
yes,
and you want to go and expose what we are doing in international scene, these are people that does not understand Yoruba at all. They, first of all, once they put it on, they will just turn it off, because they're not interested, they don't understand. But if there are some traces of understanding, maybe the interpretation, or you speak a little Yoruba, you speak English, then, though they don't understand Yoruba, they will begin to understand exactly the concept of what you are saying or what you are doing. They will begin to understand that. So that is how it's supposed to be. So let us not write it up completely.
Yes,
but
it should be a process.
It should be a process. Yes. Initially, they infusing some foreign content. After some time, they erase the foreign content completely and becomes 100%.
And even if we want to speak our local dialects, we should be well transcribed, just so that if other people are watching, they'll be able to understand what exactly is going on. So now, sir, let's move to religion aspect, because it is another sensitive issue when it comes to decolonizing Africa. Now, some believe Christianity and Islam displaced many African traditional beliefs. Now, should decolonization include religion, or has that conversation gone too far?
Say it again.
I said that religion is a sensitive issue that we should look at when we talk about decolonizing Africa, because some people believe that Christianity and Islam they are from the missionaries, and it has displaced many African traditional beliefs. Now, my question is, should decolonization include religion as well?
You see, it's okay. When we are talking about decolonization, it should be all rounder.
Okay.
For instance, before the advent of the two religions you mentioned,
Christianity and Islam, yeah,
we have a way of taking decision here. When things get lost in your environment, you don't struggle. You don't go on the channels. You don't go on television and begin to announce that it's missing. The others put themselves together and make a decree. So whoever is responsible can just deliberately begin to pull his cloth on and one man. Yes. It's instant judgment. So we have a way of governing ourselves. We have a way of leading ourselves. So, but when this colonization came in, as a president or as a governor, come and swear with Bible or come and swear with Quran. Quran has not, those are material, they have no consequences. It does not, have you seen, you see, but when they now say, maybe now, they now say, okay, in a state, the state governor wants to take out of office. They bring all the traditional rulers and bring all their jujus there and come and pack and say, put libation and say, come and swear it. If you do anything wrong.
If you go back on your, in fact, to even be more serious. Take it more, yeah, I get your point.
So you see people who taking Bible or Quran in the court and be lying. So because it has no immediate consequences.
Yes, because the judgment.
So we should decolonize the evil tradition and focus on what we know and what we believe.
Yeah, that is why this conversation we're having here matters, because this discussion has gone beyond culture. It has affected national identity, education, economic development, tourism, cultural preservation, youth development, and Africa's place in global affairs. Ultimately, the question is whether Africa is defining its own future, or are we still operating within framework designed by others? Sir, before we let you go, because we are almost out of time, in 1 minute, what would genuine decolonization look like for Africa over the next 20 years? And what role should ordinary Africans like you and me play in this?
Yes, genuine decolonization is very simple. Nigeria and Africa, for a very long time, we have undergone education. We have also experienced social amenities. We have grown far and wide. It is now time for us to now look back and say, yes, remember, colonization helped to some extent, but it now overstepped its bounds. So the real decolonization should be in all ramifications, socially, culturally, politically, economically. We should go back to the drawing board and say, yes, this is what we need to do. A genuine decolonization should be the one that have interest in yourself, in your environment, and in your community and your nation. That is genuine decolonization. That will have respect for human lives, that will have respect for properties, that will have respect for one another, and also that will make preparation for the future. That is real decolonization.
Thank you very much. We will go back to the drawing board, like you've said. Now, it is clear that decolonization is about more than removing colonial symbols or changing names. It is about how Africa sees itself, educates its people, preserves its cultures, and build institutions that reflect its own realities, while remaining engaged with the rest of the world, like we mentioned. A special thanks to our guest, Ambassador Dixon Omorigi, Executive Director of the Institute for Cultural Diplomacy, for sharing his insights. And to you who has been watching us, thank you for watching Razep Africa. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged. We'll keep the conversation going next week. My name is Simbiat Amzat.